Hello everybody, hope you're doing great. So today I have gotten several requests from community members, both in my community and on Discord, for how to set up Kill Team on Tabletop Simulator. So I've decided to make a video about that. So today's video we're going to be going over how to play Kill Team on TTS, starting from the very basics. So you're going to be learning how to set up Tabletop Simulator for Kill Team, how to make a game of Kill Team on TTS. I will go over basic controls of TTS. Then I will go over how to make a Kill Team on TTS, how to set up a game of Kill Team on TTS, and finally I'm just going to close with going over some TTS etiquette. So things that you should probably be aware of and know about when you're playing not only TTS, or not only Kill Team, but any game of Warhammer on TTS. These are things that players typically do or know about. So join me and let's begin. So the very first thing you're going to be needing to know is you got to download Steam and download TTS. I would strongly, TTS being Tabletop Simulator, obviously, I would strongly recommend you do not use a trackpad. I mean, you can use it and still technically play Tabletop Simulator, but I'm just gonna warn you guys, the game is way more awkward and clunky to play if you're using a touchpad or a trackpad. So get yourself a mouse for your keyboard. For this tutorial, I'm going to be assuming that you're using a PC and not a Mac. As far as I'm aware, Tabletop Simulator is available on a Mac. However, I don't have any experience playing on it, so I just understand that I'm giving this tutorial from my own experience using a Windows PC for using Kill Team, or using Tabletop Simulator. All right, so you're going to want to download a couple things. So if you go into your Steam Workshop, actually it's probably best that I just show you. I got too much stuff. So if you go into your Steam Workshop, there's a couple things that you're going to want to download in order to play Kill Team. So basically, you're going to want to download the Kill Team map base table. You're going to want to download the Kill Team command node, and you're going to want to download the Kill Team command node UI extender. Okay? These are bare minimum requirements just to get a game of Kill Team loaded up, right? And I'll go over what all of these do in this video, so you know what you're downloading. As you can see in my tabletop folder, I like to have my stuff organized because it makes it easier for me to find stuff. Feel free to do that if you want on your own time. I'm not going to explain how. It's pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, do what you want to do. Some other things that you'll probably want to download is different mods for models. There are so many different modders out there that are making 40k models, because Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, Mordheim, I mean, you name a tabletop game that exists in the real world, and you'll probably find somebody who's made models for it in Tabletop Simulator. I'm not going to go over where to find models, because you can do that on your own time, just looking through the workshop, looking through various Discord channels. I will, however, give you some links to some of the larger model makers, or some of the larger modders in the community. So specifically Nylons Modding Corner. This person makes a lot of pretty good quality scans for models, so you'll get like actual 40k models. Yeah, they've just got a ton of different variety of models. So I'll give the link to download this mod in the Steam Workshop. Another shout out I will give is, if I can find it, give me a second, there's just so many. Moonkey's modeling agency. So again, like Nylon, I would say Nylon's probably the largest modder in the community to my knowledge. However, Moonkey's modeling agency has a lot of really good stuff too. Like, you know, you'll see Imperial Knights, you'll see, you know, various Space Marine chapters, orcs, you name it, right? They got it. You can see like Breachers are right here, Grey Knights. So look in the description for this video. I'm going to give description or links to all the stuff that I'm recommending you download. And I strongly suggest you take time to research some other locations and maybe some other modders. Feel free to ask people in Warhammer 40,000 discords and or the various kill team discords. So I'm talking about like Glass Half Dead. I'm talking about the Command Point discord, maybe the Kill Zone discord. I'll give links to those discords as well in this chat, so you guys are in this video, so you guys can feel free to join those discords. And once you join, there'll be various channels that you can ask. So if you want to play like Imperial Guard, oh hey, I want Vet Guard, can somebody show me where I can get Vet Guard models? People there are very friendly, are more than happy to show you where you can get those models. So with that out of the way, let's move on. So, assuming that you've downloaded all that now, okay? Assuming that you've downloaded all the things that I said, I want you to launch Tabletop Simulator, okay? And you should get this screen, okay? I want you to select the Create icon. Select either single player or multiplayer. Honestly, for this, it doesn't matter. Obviously, if you're playing with somebody, you're going to pick multiplayer, right? But you can do single player and still create a kill team, no problem. But for this, we're gonna do multiplayer. So I have my default setup. Click create server after you create a server name and password and what kind of server you want, maximum players, yada yada yada. So now you're gonna get to this screen, okay? There's a couple ways you can go on this screen, depending on what you want to do, whether you want to make a kill team or whether you want to set up a game of kill team. There are two different paths you're going to go. But before we do that, I want to go over some basic controls for kill team, right? So we're going to close this. And don't worry, if you accidentally close this and you're trying to set up something else, you can select the games icon up here and it'll reopen that. Okay? So I'm going to go over some basic controls for Tabletop Simulator. So if you're familiar with PC video games, you're going to be familiar with the WASD controls. So Tabletop Simulator uses WASD to navigate around the environment in the game. If you hold down the right mouse button, you can reposition your camera. The mouse wheel zooms in and zooms out. There's a couple other hotkeys, but those are pretty much the basic controls. You'll have a list of different tools you can use throughout your experience with Tabletop Simulator. I would say the most useful are going to be your grab, your draw, and your measure tool. It's called the line tool, but it's essentially measure. Do keep in mind, for kill team, you're going to want these specific setups for your line tool. So your line tool is your measurement tool, right? So you're going to want it in inches because kill team uses inches for its measurement. You're going to want it to measure in 2D. You're going to want it set to free. You're going to want it set to edge. And what edge means, just so you understand what it means. Let me just load in some models here really quick. Let's load in some Chaos Marines, right? So what edge means is it will automatically connect to the edge of the model that you're measuring from. and it will measure to the edge of the whatever object you're measuring to. In this case, it would be the other Chaos Marine, right? You want it on edge because if you select center, it's going to measure from the center always, right? And you don't want that. You don't want it measuring from the center, right? Because that's not giving you your true measurement. You want it on edge. Free is going to auto lock it on. So make sure it's make sure it's on free. Auto will auto lock it onto the center in this situation. Or if you have it on edge, it'll lock onto the edge. You don't want that. Just make sure it's on free so you could measure wherever you want, and you won't have any problem. I don't even know what log does. I think log maybe puts it in the chat, but just put it on no log. So yeah, just follow this loadout that I have. So inch, 2D, free, edge, no log. Okay. There's various hotkeys for the tools up here. Feel free to figure those out on your own. They're not hard. They're just the F keys. So F1, F2, F3, F4. F1 being the grab tool. To grab something, you can left click, right? Hold left click to hold it. You rotate your mouse around. You can move stuff around. Pretty basic stuff. I mean, if you've ever played a computer game in your life, you probably understand these keys. They're pretty basic for pretty much any PC game you're going to be playing. So yeah, those are the basic ways to navigate around on TTS. Another thing I want to go over is rotating models. So there's a couple ways to do that. And so when you pick up your model, you can use the mouse wheel to rotate it around, or you can use the E key or the Q key, and you can actually use E and Q to rotate them while you're not holding it. So useful thing to know, especially if you're setting up barricades. That's something that a lot of people who, when they start playing Kill Team on TTS, they're not really aware that they can rotate their barricades. So that's just something to be aware of. All right, so now that we've got basic controls down, I want you to now pay attention. I'm going to teach you how to make a kill team, right? So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open your Games tab right here, or if you set up a new game, this will automatically open. You're going to click on Workshop, and you're going to click on this command node. So you'll left click on it. It'll give you this prompt. Do you want to load or cancel? Hit load, and it'll load this table. Okay. So now you're here. We're gonna put things on pause right here. Okay. We're gonna put things on pause right here, because I don't want us looking at this, because there's another step that I need us to go over. So what you're going to want to do now, and I'm gonna transition screens here. You should see. Okay. So, sharing screen with you now. So you're going to want to download BattleScribe onto your computer. Just Google BattleScribe. It should be no problem. You download it, install it, and you create a new roster. BattleScribe is pretty straightforward. I feel like most people in the community understand how to use it, but just for the sake of thoroughness, I'll go over it. We are gonna, in this situation, we're gonna make a commando team, right? So we're gonna select a roster. This is really important that you're selecting a roster for this. You're not selecting the commando kill team, you're selecting roster. So this is gonna give you your 20-man roster that you're supposed to create when you're setting up for kill team, right? Over here, you can see your various dudes, right? So add in your knob options, your bomb squig, all this stuff. You just double click on it and it'll add your team. The orc team is pretty straightforward. They don't really have any options for their guys, but let's say you're playing a different team where maybe the sergeant has like different options you can select. So that's going to usually be in this area. It'll give you like different things you can select, and it'll change the stats. Okay. So once you have your team selected, Okay, once you have your team selected, I want you to, 1 second. Okay, so once you have your team selected, I want you to save your team. So whatever you want to save it, keep in mind where you're saving it, because that's going to be relevant in a minute. So save your team, right? Okay, so the next step is you're going to go... Okay, so the next step is you're going to go to this website. So it's DataTeam App Azure websites or whatever. I'll give the link for here. So this website might look a little bit sketch, and I totally understand that. However, this website is set up for taking BattleScribe rosters and inputting code into Tabletop Simulator to give your models the stats that they're supposed to be representing. So sometimes people's firewalls kind of don't like being on this website, especially when you're about to do what I'm going to tell you to do. I want you to know there is no problems with this website at all. This is a completely safe website. I use it almost every single day. Don't worry. So if your computer gets all grumpy about that, just tell your computer to chill. So the first thing you're going to be doing on this website is you're going to be clicking the browse icon right here. And this is going to open up your file on your website, which is why your computer gets all fussed about it, because if you have a good firewall, it usually gets kind of upset if websites are accessing personal files. So you're going to want to select the RAWs file. Okay, so this is your BattleScribe roster file. So in this case, we're selecting our commandos. So it's going to load it up, and it's going to give you a roster code. So this is a randomly generated code. And just to be aware, this code does expire. Okay, so it lasts a pretty good amount of time. I want to say it lasts like 15 or 30 minutes, but it does expire. Okay, so you're going to highlight and select your code. Okay, so that's all we need to do on the website part. So now we're going to transition back to Tabletop Simulator. Okay, so we're back on Tabletop Simulator. And we are in the command node, right? So prior to doing this, we went into the command node and we loaded this up, and it will bring you to this table. Okay, so you're going to zoom in here. You're going to select new team. You're in this text box. You're going to paste in your code, and you're going to hit load team. Okay, so that is now going to load up a whole bunch of red icons with different titles. So for example, Bomb Squig Boy, Breach a Boy, Burn a Boy, Comms Boy, DAC Boy, blah, 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 blah. Right. These are all the various operatives that you had in your team. Now, I was a bit lazy and I was just showing you for demonstration, but ideally you should have 20 models. This should be representing your entire roster. So we are now ready to load in models. So assuming that you found models to represent your team from a modder, you want to load them up now. So you're going to be selecting games. You're going to be selecting workshop, going over to, if you haven't created folders, it'll just appear here just like these have, but mine are more organized. So you're going to select your mod, right? You're going to mouse over it until you get this little vertical 3-dot icon that says options, right? You're going to click on that and you're going to hit search. Okay, so this is going to basically open the file that you downloaded, and you'll be able to pull individual models from that file. So in this situation, I have a modder who created the Orc Commando team. So I'm going to left click and drag the models here, right? Left click and drag the models into the current table. Okay. So I'm just going to do this for all of the models that I want to use to represent my team. So we'll get the Knob, we'll get this guy, we'll get the Rocket Boy, Grot, blah, 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 right? Okay, so just hit escape when you're done, and you have your models over here now, right? To organize them, push the 1 key, and it'll just put everybody up in a line. just to make it easier to like go through, and you can kind of rotate them just to kind of look and see what everybody has, right? So if you want to use your guys. Now I will let you know that you don't need duplicates, because you can use the same model to represent the guys on your team. So just be aware of that. Okay, so now you have your models that you want to use to represent your kill team. So now we need to go through... did I forget to load the bomb squig? That's embarrassing. That guy's important. He's not. He's absolute trash, but people like using him. This guy doesn't even have a bomb squig. Well, I guess this guy shares the same opinion that I do towards it. All right. Okay. So let's say, for example, you want to select your boy. So you go to choose model over here. You look at the model that you want to select or to represent the orc boy. So in this situation, be this guy. I left click on him, and then you'll notice that the icon right here changes to gray, and a model, so a duplicate of this model, will appear. Okay, and just repeat this process for all of your models here. So this can be a little bit of a time-consuming process, but it's worth it when you want your guys to look nice, which is a very big important thing for me. And you know, a lot of Tabletop Simulator gets a lot of rap because the hobby part of this hobby doesn't exist, but I like to argue that that isn't 100% true, because there is a bit of the hobby aspect of selecting nice looking models and even uploading your own models onto TTS, which is something you can do. But I'm not going to explain how to do that in this video, because that is a whole other can of worms. All right. So, minus the bomb squig, we have our team ready, right? So once you're finished, and once you have all your dudes that are gray, or all your icons that are gray over here, all your guys have a model to represent, you're going to then click finish. Okay? So this will finish your team, and you'll notice that they're finished when there's no more icons and you have like a big red box around your team, and you'll notice that your guys now have a health tracker above them, right? So this means your team is ready to rock. You are now ready to start a game of Kill Team. So drag and select your key or your team using the left click, and right click over one of the models so it opens up this menu screen. Select save object, and then type whatever name you want, right? Let's give him actual name. Cool Guys. All right. So if you created folders, you can then save them in specific folders. So I have a specific folder for kill teams that I like to save stuff in. So I'm going to save them there. You are now done with your team. You have officially created your team for Kill Team, and you don't need to do anything else before setting up a game. So the next step is to set up a game. So let's say that you're ready to set up a game of Kill Team now. So you're going to go to create. Again, you're going to want to decide whether you want to be playing Sad Hammer by yourself, or playing a normal game of Kill Team that requires multiple people. So you would be selecting multiplayer, set up your server name, password, create server, yada yada yada. So next thing you're going to do is select workshop, right? Select Kill Team base table. It's going to give you this prompt. You're going to hit load. So this is the base table for playing a game of Kill Team in TTS, right? It's going to give you this prompt right off the bat, whether you want to be the red player or the blue player, or you can be a spectator. So if you're playing the game, you want to pick one of these colors. You can change your color once the game starts. This is not a permanent decision, so don't worry, but just pick a color. It doesn't really matter until the game starts. Then you guys can talk about it. So in this situation, I'm going to pick blue. It's going to give you your own little side. The red player has this side, so I will let you know that these zones are hidden, right? So the red player can only see in this zone, the blue player can only see in this zone. So in this zone, this is going to have your various kill team archetype decks. So we have Seek and Destroy, Security, Infiltration, and Recon. You're also going to have scouting cards. So Fortify, Infiltrate, and Recon. And I'll go over the etiquette of how to use those after I explain how to set up a game of Kill Team. So just to familiarize yourself with the board, these are line of sight trackers, or like they're used for like drawing lines of sight and cover lines and everything. These are a bit complicated to use, and I don't find them necessary for gameplay. So feel free to learn these on your own. They do have a bit of a learning curve with them, and it's useful to use them, but I don't think they're necessary for the game, so I'm not going to go over them. So over here is your barricades. So if you want to grab a barricade, so just left click and drag it out. There we go. And it will automatically give you a barricade in your selected color. So because I'm the blue player, it's giving me a blue barricade, right? And if you want to put them back, let's say you grab too many barricades, right? You can just pick up your barricade with the left click button, drag them over on top of this barricade so it highlights the icon, right? There we go. Bang. That puts them back. You also have smoke grenades here. So you can pull a smoke grenade out, and this has different states, right? So in its current state, it's just a smoke grenade, but if you were to push the 2 on it, it turns into a little smoke screen. It will crash your computer if you pull too many out, so be careful. Speaking of performance, really? You're not going to go in? That's how it is? Alright, fair enough. Speaking of performance on TTS, TTS is mostly a stable game. However, there's a couple things you should be aware of. As far as graphical requirements for a computer, you can pretty much have a potato computer run TTS. It's not a very demanding game. However, do keep in mind that there are memory leaks in this game. So if you're familiar with computers, you'll know that memory leaks are something that can happen if a program is running too long, and basically it'll bottleneck your computer and slow everything down, and eventually crash your app or your program. So not a big deal. You'll rarely encounter it in here, but just be aware that that's something that can happen. Anyways, so up here you'll see like various icons that you can use throughout the game. If you want to use these icons, you just drag an icon out and boom, now it's a thing, right? There's a ready operatives button. So I'm going to be honest with you. I've tried using this button a couple times, and from my experience, it's been buggy, so I would not recommend using this. And I'll show you how to ready operatives later. Over here we have a dice roller. So if you want to spawn dice, you just click on the desired amount. So because it's kill team, it's kind of capped at 6 to spawn. Let's say, for example, you want 4, you click on 4 and it'll spawn 4 dice, okay? So if you want to roll them, highlight all your dice, pick them up, and drag them over the cardboard box here and let them go, and it will roll the dice. So something that I want you to understand in Tabletop Simulator, this is not a random number generator, okay? This is actually using the physics of Tabletop Simulator to roll the dice. And Tabletop Simulator has some pretty good dice rolling physics. And I have... How many hours of Tabletop Simulator? I have, at the moment, 3,200 hours played of Tabletop Simulator. So I feel like I have the experience requirements to give this statement that I feel like the dice roller in Tabletop Simulator is pretty damn realistic. You're going to have crazy dice rolls sometimes. You're going to roll really good. You're going to roll really bad. You're going to roll average, just like in real life, okay? There is a roll function here. However, I would not recommend using it. It's kind of clunky and buggy, and I mean, here, let me just roll right? And it physically rolls the dice, and sometimes the dice kind of roll and go like awkward ways. Sometimes the dice doesn't actually roll, and it just like lifts up and then drops down. So it's just, I would not recommend using it. I don't feel like it's correctly rolling the dice. So if you want to roll dice, drop them in here. Okay. All right, so we went over that. There is a timer clock on here. It's just like a real stop clock, so I'm not going to go over how to use it. There's instructions on how to use it here. So don't use the auto roll either. Just pretend those don't exist. Just use these dice rollers, by the way. Up here, there's some rules for basic stuff for Kill Team, and go over the various missions. There is a thing that opens up table quarters on the board and will also give you a 3-inch circle around the center of the board. This loads in objectives. I'll explain that later. You're not going to interact with this. This is an automatic thing, though. This is your scoreboard. Okay, so if you want to give yourself points, all you have to do is select the little skulls, and it'll light up, and it'll start adding points to your, I guess, little scoreboard down here. Command points are not an automated feature, so you're going to have to manually add your command points, but you can do so by just clicking the plus to give yourself command points, the minus to reduce your command points. Feel free to explore this pregame checklist. This is kind of like a game tracker that people are trying to track their games on Kill Team now. It's pretty useful, but I'm not going to go over it. So you know how to do that. If you want to tell who got the initiative, you select this little lightning thing. So if I win the roll off to get initiative, just do that. Secondaries, I'll explain how to put those up there. But basically, you're going to play your secondaries on this mat, and they will appear right here, right? And then you can score your secondaries like that, and it'll add to your game score, okay? For TTS, painted score is not tracked for obvious reasons. So just keep that in mind. The maximum score you can get is 18 for TTS Kill Team. Okay. All right. Up here, you'll see open missions, and this previously wasn't here. However, because Into the Dark has been released, it's now necessary to differentiate open play versus Into the Dark missions. So we have various missions for match play. I think there's a way to play special ops narrative missions on here, but I have absolutely no interest in narrative play, so I have never learned to figure out how to play narrative. So if you're a narrative player, I apologize. That's just something you're going to have to research on your own. However, I would strongly recommend, after figuring out how to play Kill Team on TTS after watching this video, just go to one of the different Discords that I've linked in the description, and feel free to ask them how to play narrative missions, because I know people play narrative missions on here. I just do not know how. Anyways, so let's say you wanted to play a specific mission. So let's say loot and salvage. You would select all of these places. So place will put down your deployment zone measurements. So this is red's deployment zone. This is 6 inches from their deployment zone. Blue's deployment zone, and 6 inches from blue. If this gets a little bit too much of an eyesore, or makes it hard setting up models, you can lower the deployment zones. And typically when people are playing a game, they will keep these open and just keep them lowered, because it's low enough that it doesn't really detract from the game, and it makes measurements nice. So you'll select this, so that's the place the deployment zones, and then you'll select this, and then I'll place the objectives, right? And just so you know, can I recall the objectives? Just so you know, the objectives are pulled from here, right? Actually, I think they're pulled from here, But so that's what I was saying. You don't actually have to physically interact with the objective markers, but if you wanted to manually place the objective markers, you can do so from here. Okay. So you have that loaded in. When you load in the mission, it will also give you the page that the mission's on from the rulebook, so you'll be able to check rules here. It should also have the basic rules in here, so it'll show you how to like play the game. There's some like basic rules cards up here, so if you forget individual rules in Kill Team, like what does splash mean? Well, I can look over here on this index and see splash, splash, splash. Okay, it inflicts mortal wounds, right? So all of this is up here. There's an appendix up here that will give like a basic rundown of the various rules in Kill Team. So hey, I'm assuming you guys watching this video know how to play Kill Team, so I'm not gonna go over this. But if you need to check the rules, these exist up here, and feel free to look at them. If you want to play Into the Dark, there's oh, sorry, I need to tell you how to load terrain. So you have your mission loaded up here, right? The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to load terrain. So you're going to click on the games, and again, you're going to open up matched play terrain. So this is basic terrain that is used for tournaments and online play. If you want to use different boards, there's several boards that are placed up online that you can find yourself. But these are generally what's used when you're doing pickup games in TTS. Okay, so this is from the Command Point Discord. This is from the Spring Tournament. This, I think, is the most up-to-date boards that are used on TTS for open play. So you're going to click on Workshop, and if you didn't organize it, it's going to appear here, but I organized it, so it's actually in here. So you're going to get some maps that are going to look like this. And so we're doing loot and salvage, so we're going to be doing this map. So you're going to mouse over it, you're going to click the options, and you're going to hit additive load. Okay, it's going to give you this prompt. Are you sure you want to additively load this? You're going to hit load, and it's going to load it in right here. So this is going to load in terrain that is completely functional, and you're able to interact with it, and boom, now you have a Kill Team board. Okay, so the next thing is to load your team. So you're going to click objects up here. You're going to select saved objects, and you're going to navigate around for your kill team. So I have a bunch of random crap that I've saved, but I've also organized my kill teams, and what the hell did I name it? Cool Guys, right? So once you find your kill team here, you're going to grab and drag them onto the game board, and it will load your team. Okay, so this is your kill team right here. But it's not yet ready to play because you'll notice there's no order tokens on them. Okay, so there's a couple things we can do for that. So if you select games, select workshop, and you'll know we have the command node extender. I want you to click on the icon right here and go to search, drag the custom board out here. Okay, it's going to load in kind of an awkward spot. You're going to mouse over it and push the L key, which will unlock it. Okay, now you can also right click it and go under toggles and select lock and observe that the check mark is gone. That will also tell you it's unlocked. You're going to pick it up and drag it into a more desirable spot, so something that's kind of out of the way, right? You're going to lock it back in place using either the two methods that I've just shown you. You're then going to pick up your team, drag them on top of the extender like this, and then you're going to click the green icon in the top left called Extend Kill Team, or KTUI, right? So you select that, and it will give everybody order tokens. So you can give them all conceal or all engage. That doesn't really matter, but whatever you want to do. So this is going to basically be the last step you have to do to your kill team models in order to have them ready to play. Okay, and just to show you how to interact with the UI on each of the models. So if you left click You can change the token from orange to black to represent that it's activated. If you right click, you can change the different order, so it can go from engage to conceal to engage. If you click on their health bar, you can subtract to their health or add to their health. It will automatically put a little injured token on the model once the model itself is below the threshold to become injured. So that's something to be aware of. You can also right click and let's see. You can right click and change the different tokens. You can kill the model and it'll just remove the health from it. So some various different interactions. If you want to quickly know the distance of things between your model and another object, but you don't want to measure out the object, you can hover over your guy and push the R key, and that will open up here. I'll put it over here just so we can see it better. It will open up a list of auras. So the first one is the black aura. Okay, so this is 1 inch from your model. White is 2 inches. Blue is 3, and red is 6. Just like the rules in Kill Team when you're measuring out stuff. Black is 1 inch, white's 2, blue is 3, red's 6. Okay, so this is really useful to know, and you can still move your model around. So as you've noticed, I can measure while moving my model around, so I will show you how to do that now. So when you have your model, by the way, when you're using your model, if you want to set it down and drag it on the ground, hold left click to pick your model up, hold right click while holding your model, and it'll press it against the ground, or it will press it against whatever object it's currently being pressed against, or it's on, right? All right, so back to measuring. So you're going to pick up your model. Oh, let me explain measuring first before I do this. So to measure a distance, right, you're going to push tab and hold tab, and that's going to use your line tool right here, and you're going to measure a distance, right? So I want to measure 6 inches. So I'm holding tab and I'm moving out to a distance of 6. Okay. If I want to move my model 6, I'm going to pick my model up first while holding left click. I'm going to continue holding left click. I'm going to then push down and hold tab and measure out to 6. I'm going to release tab, then release the model. Okay? So again, you're going to pick it up. You're going to hold tab to open up the line tool. You're going to move the model your desired movement. You're going to release tab, and then you're going to put the model down. Okay? So something I want you to be aware of, that if you screw this up, like if you don't release tab first before dropping the model, so if I drop the model, it will keep you in your line tool. Okay? So this is annoying, right? Because now I'm in my line tool and I can't grab my model. I can just, like, you know, point at stuff. It's really easy to fix. You just push F1 and you go back to your line tool. So just be aware that the order of operations matters. So you want to pick your model up, hold tab, move it, then release tab, then put your model down, and you'll stay in your grab tool. Okay? So it's just really important to know. All right. So you've got your team selected. You've got everything. You are officially ready to play Kill Team on TTS. There's one more thing that I want us to go over, and I'm going to talk about Kill Team etiquette on TTS. Okay? Because that's pretty important. So, the first thing I want to talk about, just give me a second. Okay, so the first thing is I want to talk about TAC Ops, okay? So like I said, over here, you have your TAC Ops decks, okay? However, you can also get your faction TAC Ops from this area over here. So if I zoom out, it's going to be the bottom right corner of the table, okay? You're going to go into here, and you can either push, I think it's R, or is it deal? Yeah, whatever. Just mouse over it, right click it, and select search. Okay, and it's going to have the various different teams over here. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to type commando, and it's going to show me the commando deck. So this is your commando deck. So this is going to give you everything you need. So you just left click and drag stuff out of the box. So this will give you a list of tac ops that you have. So this will show you all your tac ops, right? Yeah, you get the idea. These are some tokens that are to represent equipment that you have on your team. So when you hit place, it'll take these equipment out. If your guys have used the Kill Team UI extender and they have an order token, they can use these tokens. And if I drag it, so for example, if I want a dynamite stick on my knob, I will drag out a dynamite stick token and I will hover over and release it over him. And now you can see he has a little token here. Okay, so that will only appear if they have used the Kill Team UI extender. So if they don't have an order token, these will not work. These have been designed to work with this extender. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, if I want to represent that the commando knob has used the dynamite this game, I right click on the icon and it'll disappear. Okay, so it's really useful. Basically every team in the game has had icon tokens made for their team to represent the different equipment that they can, or that they have. I will let you know that new teams, there's a little bit of lag of people, you know, making the icons and the necessary stuff to support a new team. So, you know, at the moment, Kazarkin and Hyrotech Circle have been released, I think, yesterday. At the moment, they do not have any support just because the teams are very new. Expect that to change in like the next week. Okay, so just be patient, be a little understanding. Okay. All right. So you have your team ready. You have your equipment. I showed you how to select equipment. The next thing you need is tac ops, right? So you're going to select, these are your faction tac ops, right? All the bespoke teams should have their faction tac ops in their faction box. So you're going to pull them out of the pile right here. You can push 1 to organize them. Then you're going to select your archetype that you want to use for this game. So I'm not going to go over the rules because you guys should understand the rules of Kill Team, but commandos have access to infiltration, right? So you're going to left click and it's going to pick it up, right? You're going to hold left click and it'll pick up the deck, and you'll move the deck over here and you're going to push the F key to flip it, right? So this allows you to read all of the various tac ops. You can then right click and hit spread and it'll open up the deck and you can kind of look and select your tac ops, right? So for this game, I want this, I want this, I want this, and let's say I want all of my faction tac ops. Okay, so I'm not going to use these, so I'm just going to grab them. I'm going to push F to flip them over so my opponent can't see what I'm selecting, and I'm just going to put them out of the way. Okay, I'm then got my faction or my tac op deck that I want to use for this game. I'm then going to push the F key to flip it over. I'm going to push the R key to shuffle it. One time is fine, but I like shuffling it like this because it's fun. You're then going to right click, go down to spread, and select 3. And what this does is it creates 3 decks of 2. Okay, you're going to hover over the first deck, hold left click until it picks up like this. You're going to then drag it to here, and then you're going to hold, you're going to just hold left click and drag out another card. So now you have 2 separate cards. You're going to highlight them and you're going to put it on this active objectives mat. So this is again, kind of like the hidden zone. This is a map that only you can see. Your opponent is not able to see this, right? So I think we can actually demonstrate this. So if I put this card right here, does it work over here? Oh no, I can't put stuff in my active objectives. Okay. But basically, if your opponent's looking over here and you can see your cards, your opponent will see the back of the cards, even if you're looking at them. So they can't see what's here. Okay. So you're going to select your TAC ops just like you do in a normal game of Kill Team. So this is the etiquette that's used in TTS. So the TAC op that you want to keep, you keep to the far left. And the one that you want to discard, once you've decided, right? So I want to use Interloper for this game. I'm then going to flip over, blow it up. I'm going to pull it over here and just keep it to the side, right? And we're going to do the same thing for these decks. Again, we're going to separate them. I'm going to put them to the right of the card that I'm keeping, right? This, like I said, this is just etiquette that we use in Kill Team TTS. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look. Oh, okay, this is really good. So I'm going to just remove that. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Boom, flip this over. Oh, okay, that's really good. Okay, so now you have your discard pile. Just put those over here because you're not using them. So now you have your stuff over here. So keep your cards in the active objectives. Basically, this is your hand, right? Keep them in the active objectives mat until you wish to play them. I really want to stress this, until you wish to play them, because once you play them, you're going to put them here, and once they're here, that is a permanent decision. You cannot take it back. It will stay on here, and it will highlight itself on this board. So if you make a mistake and put a card down right here, once it's there, okay? My opponent now sees capture, hostage, infiltrate, and I can't be like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to play that. No, it's there. You can rewind time, but just understand that there's a permanence of this, and that this mistake right here is something that you then have to rewind time, and your opponent will probably be aware because it'll make an announcement for you playing an objective, right? If you can see in the chat, Austin revealed capture, hostage, and infiltrate. Okay? Just be aware of that. Okay? Don't make the mistake. Don't be a noob. Okay? All right, so now you understand TAC ops. You'll notice here we have scouting cards. So when you want to select your scouting decision, you will take your card, as I did. You're going to flip it over using the F key, and you're going to drag it over to the rolling area. And this is the kind of TTS etiquette that people use in Kill Team. So your opponent's going to do the same thing. You are both going to flip over your cards once you both have agreed to do so. You're going to push the F key to flip them, and oh, okay, you'll decide like who wins, and you're going to do your stuff and play Kill Team, right? So that's how you do that. I think I pretty much went over. Yeah, I think I pretty much went over everything. So I hope that after watching this video, you now know how to play Kill Team in TTS, and I am looking forward to seeing you on the Discord servers looking for games. So thank you very much for listening to this video. As I said before, I'm going to put links into the video description on where to get the mods in order to do what I did, as well as a couple of recommended modders that maybe you should look and try to get your models. I'm going to give you links to the Discords to join those Discord communities and search for games on TTS. Feel free to look for additional models on the workshop and or in those Discords. They're going to have, full teams that are going to be scanned, or people have their own models. Like a perfect example would be this guy. So this is I don't know the name of this guy, but this is this guy's Heretic Astartes team, and they have a very Core Knight theme to them. And these are his actual models that he scanned onto TTS, and they look really cool. And a lot of people have done that for various teams, and you can too. Like I said, I'm not going to explain how because it's a pretty in-depth process, but most of the TTS Discords will have somewhere that you can go to learn how to do that. I'm told that it's not a very complicated process, but I've never done it myself, so I can't comment on that. So that's pretty cool. So anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching this video, and please share this video with people who are interested in learning how to play Kill Team on TTS, but they're a little hesitant because it's kind of overwhelming. They don't know how to get it set up. Like I said, I'm making this video because I've had several requests come at me like, I don't know how to play Kill Team on TTS. How do I do it? And I have personally looked up how to do that because I want to be able to explain it to them without, you know, sitting them down for 2 hours and walking them through every step. And I haven't found any up-to-date guide videos on it. So, yeah, I hope you can share this video with them, and I hope this video helps out the community and you guys are able to make our community grow, because Kill Team on TTS is freaking awesome. It doesn't replace real-life Kill Team. Real-life Kill Team is still more fun because you get to play with your own models and you get to see your friends. But for me personally, I really like TTS Kill Team because the location, I live in downtown Tokyo. I'm kind of spread out from my community. I can't just, like, you know, drive 5 minutes down to my local game shop and play somebody. We got to schedule events out here, so it's a little bit awkward trying to meet people. And if I want to play a game of Kill Team on a weeknight after I get home from work, it's just far simpler to play TTS than it is to contact a friend and try and set up some kind of meeting. With that being said, I still play games on the weekend with my community friends. So I hope that you can enjoy Kill Team too. But I hope that it also doesn't replace your actual real life experience with Kill Team, because it is great. I usually get really drunk when I'm playing, so I have a good time. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you later.